Hey guys, we are out here and we are going to do some direct seeding. I've got lettuce, spinach, carrots, beets, and maybe a few flowers, and maybe kale. So we are going to uncover these beds that we just planted the other day that have brassicas in them. So broccolis, cabbage, cauliflower. And we are going to plant all of these in between all of those because brassicas take a while to get to maturity, so to get big, and all of these can grow while they do that. So let's do it. So my husband made this. It is for essentially dropping a lot of seeds all at once, instead of just trenching, overseeding, and then having to go back and thin. I can drop them into little holes and know that they're spaced apart already. So I had my husband make this. Each peg is 1 inch apart, and I believe it's a 1/2 inch deep, like the peg sticks up a 1/2 inch. So a lot of these only need to go about 1/4 inch, so I might not shove it down in there, but we are going to plant carrots along the edges of the beds, and then in between the broccoli and cauliflower and cabbage in this bed specifically, we're going to plant lettuce, spinach, and then I might save the kale for like a specific spot because it gets a little bigger, and beets. And I think that's all I have. Let's double check. Lettuce, spinach. I don't know if you guys can hear this, but there's a woodpecker in the tree right behind me, or right behind you, in front of me. Yeah. Okay, so we've got beets, carrots, kale, spinach, and lettuce. The beets. Do I want a chaos garden this? Okay, for those of you that don't know what chaos gardening is, we're going to take things that like to grow together, companion plants, and you dump the seeds, a mixture of them, in your palm, and you just sprinkle them, and it's chaos. And it grows the way nature wants it to grow, and it usually turns out great. So we are going to do that a little bit, mostly with lettuce, and just the varieties of lettuce, because the kale I want in a specific place, the carrots I want along the edges of the beds, and the beets I may do more in like a row. I actually may do them in this bed behind me because there's less plants in it, and I can just kind of give them a little bit more space to bulb up. So that being said, let's start carrots first. I'm going to use this for carrots. Okay, so I'm just going to take this. We're going to go about 1.5 inches, 2 inches away from the bed, or the edge of the garden bed, and I'm just going to push this down into the soil, just like that. Then we lift up, and we've got little divots for seeds. I'm gonna, in this bed specifically, I'm gonna use this variety here. It's called Shin Kuroda. I really like these. They're a little bit stockier. I'm gonna go about I'll probably skip a hole. Okay, and then carrot seeds are pretty tiny. So we're gonna go through, and I'll probably still do 2 seeds per hole just to ensure that we get a carrot. Now you absolutely can make a trench and just heavily seed carrots. They don't mind to germinate. Once they sprout and start getting bigger, you will want to thin them to about every 2 inches, because carrots grow downward, and if they're overcrowded, then you'll get some goofy looking carrots. I plan on planting carrots along every edge of every bed because they don't take up very much space. Last year I dedicated a whole bed to it, and I just felt like I could have used the space more for something better, more tomatoes or something like that. So going a different direction this year, planting them around the edges. We'll see how it goes. Okay, so let's move on to lettuce. I have 5 different types of lettuce and 2 different types of spinach. I've got red romaine lettuce, Tom Thumb dwarf bib lettuce, little Jim butterhead lettuce, bib butterhead lettuce, and freckles romaine. That looks like this. It's really pretty. The little Jim and Tom Thumb dwarf bib are pretty close to each other. The Tom Thumb dwarf bib lettuce is definitely smaller. This one gets 2 to 3 inch lettuce heads, so very tiny. Very cute if you're into cute things. The little Jim butterhead lettuce gets 4 to 6 inch lettuce heads, and the bib butterhead lettuce, lots of butterheads here, gets 9 to 12 inches. So though they sound all very similar, they will have similar flavor and texture, definitely different sizes. So I have all of them, so we're just gonna plant all of them. The freckles romaine and the red romaine, obviously different colors. But the red romaine gets 12 inch heads, where the freckles romaine gets 6 to 8 inch heads. So again, smaller, but same essential type. As far as spinach, I've got Bloomsdale long-standing spinach and giant noble spinach. The giant noble spinach is exactly how it sounds. It's giant. They get 20 inches tall, whereas the Bloomsdale long-standing spinach gets 6 to 8 inches tall. Lettuce seeds are very tiny. And I'm just gonna go through. Dump a little bit of each in my hand, and then pinch and sprinkle as we go. You know, some of them do look a little different, like that darker seed there is the Tom Thumb dwarf lettuce. Now, spinach seeds do look different. A lettuce seed is tiny and flat. These are definitely more round. But we're just gonna take these and we're just gonna kind of mix them up in our hand as much as possible. Ooh, I got lettuce seeds flying everywhere. And then we're just gonna come through in between, and we're just gonna sprinkle. And for those of you thinking, why does she keep stepping on our garlic beds? Yeah, they probably hate this, but a girl's gotta do what a girl's gotta do. And then I'm just gonna come through and just rough up. Things don't really have to be super technical. Things say to bury them 1/4 of an inch. 1/4 of an inch is not very deep. So we're just gonna come through until we can't see the seeds anymore. Okay, I'm gonna leave this bed uncovered, and we'll water everything in when we're finished. I don't plan on letting all of these get to full heads. When it comes to lettuce, I prefer the cut and come again method. It works better for our family. I feel like it's less wasteful. If you don't know what the cut and come again method is, it's exactly how it sounds. Instead of letting something get a full head of romaine lettuce, you are going to harvest the outside leaves while the inside continues to grow. It's usually what works out for us. Okay, in this bed, I'm gonna do the same carrots first. I'm gonna do a different variety in this bed. This is a Danvers half long. These are definitely more typical carrot shape where they're long and skinny. It's too tiny for you to see, but there's a green lacewing right here, which is a great garden pest to have. They eat all of the bad pests that you don't want around. All right, in this bed, we're gonna do kale. I'm not sure if I want to plant all three. So I've got red Russian, blue curled Scotch, and dinosaur kale. The dinosaur kale is the smallest out of the three. The blue curled is the largest. And by largest, I mean it can get 36 inches tall. So I'm gonna skip that one. We'll skip that one. The kale on either like center on either end, because we've only got 2 Brussels sprouts in the center, so there's a little bit more space here. Plus it's in the center, so these low hoops will give it more space to beef up. And then the beets will just kind of go intermixed. And then I'm gonna plant a little bit of the giant noble spinach in this bed. So we'll do that. 12 to 18 inches apart. I'll probably just do maybe 6 holes. Maybe kind of like in a triangle pattern here. Let's move some of this out. We'll see. Kale seeds are like tiny little round pellets. Maybe I'll do dinosaur kale here and the red Russian down there. Red Russian will do the same way, just on this end down here. I'm gonna go in with giant noble spinach and beets. I have 2 packs of beets. And honestly, because I'm gonna use all the beets, I'm just gonna use one of these seed packets to hold all of the seeds. Okay, we are gonna keep in mind where we planted the kale and the carrots and kind of just go. Okay, I'm gonna get the hose and we'll water. So I'm just gonna pull the weeds that are in this chamomile that has self-seeded, and I'll probably sprinkle some more chamomile in here. When we talk about tiny seeds, chamomile might take the cake. Yeah, I guess you can see it, but they're real tiny. So we're just gonna, and these you just press into the surface. So literally sprinkling works great. I love chamomile. If not for tea or anything else, just for the scent. Okay, so I think that sums up everything for today. I'm gonna get the beds covered back up with the insect netting. Thanks for chaos gardening with me, and we'll see you next time. Bye.